Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Friday night, episode 26, Punish Dave, also known as the Willy Wonka of Guitar Tone.
Thank you, Guitar Player Magazine.
Guitar Player Magazine. I'm sorry, that was in the back of my mind. I wanted to say that. That really made me laugh.
I'll take that.
Yeah, you're the Willy Wonka of rock guitar tone. I love it. I hope everybody's doing good.
The Gene Wilder Willy Wonka or the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka?
It's got to be the Gene Wilder. Yeah. I think the Johnny Depp was a little creepy.
I know. I kind of like it though.
Yeah. Okay.
I like both.
All right.
But yeah, the Gene Wilder. Let's go with the classic.
The classic. You got to go with the classic.
It's like I keep seeing this Roadhouse movie, the new one.
Oh yeah.
And I keep looking at it and I look at the preview and I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like the original, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, Conor McGregor's in it.
I'm having a hard time buying it all.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the first one also had what was his name? The slide player.
Jeff Healey.
Jeff Healey. Yeah.
Yeah. That was cool.
That was cool. Right. And Sam
Elliott.
Yeah.
Love Sam Elliott.
Yeah. So you can't really they just need to stop remaking movies. That's what they really need to do.
Either that or just I think it's sort of the same story, or why do you have to remake it exactly? Make it do something different. Yeah. Do the same idea, but something different.
Yeah, exactly. Build on it.
Make it instead of the same exact story with slightly different changes. I can't.
Yeah.
I'll probably wind up watching it just to see how horrible it is.
I think that's just one of those that you just wait till it comes on TV and then you watch it.
I wouldn't. It is already on. I think it's already streaming. Well, maybe it's streaming, but at a high price. I'm not sure.
Okay. Oh, we got Karsten's amplification in there. Hey, what's up,
Brian?
How are you? We got Thomann. Lots of folks already joining.
At some point in time, Brian, I think I'm making a trip to Chicago, so I'll look you up when I do.
Cool.
We can go have a beer.
That'd be good.
Or whatever. Something like that.
I don't know if it was direct to streaming, but Jim Stubblefield says it's not that good. Somehow that's surprising.
Not surprising, Jim.
Yeah. Not surprising.
Even watching the preview, I could tell you that one.
So the amps behind you, that's like the big question people have right now.
Those are Chris Shiflett's. That's his, either his B rig or his A rig. I'm not exactly sure what rig is here right now.
That's pretty much.
Oh, we have you top though, Mark. Yeah. We got 4.
You got 4. Oh, by the way,
he has 8. I wish I had 8 here right now because I'd love to put them in one picture.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I also redid my side over here. I had a cab over here that one day I'll talk about what happened to that cab. I can't talk about it right now, but I will
talk about it.
Can't talk about it. It's a secret. But if you see over there, I got
112.
I got the 112 there,
and
a nice little rack where I've got my Soldano, the EV.
Oh yeah, look at that, the little amps.
Yep, all the little, and then the Fryette power station. Who Steven's coming on, or Stevie? How does he like to be pronounced?
Well, I think he goes by Stephen Fryette, but I've known him so long, it's Stevie Fryette to me.
Okay.
So, I don't know. To me, he's Stevie.
Okay. Well,
I've known Stevie since 1988.
Wow. Long time.
We have a long history together. Love the guy.
Well, he's a great guy. And so Steve, I'll just, out of respect, I'm not as close as you are, is coming on the 26th. Is Is that a Friday?
Yes,
I forget.
I
Or
do
the
believe.
29th. Yes, the 26th.
Yeah.
And then the week before that, the 19th, we have Shay.
Shay from Monomyth Amps.
Yep. And I'll be putting up the promos for that tomorrow. For
Yeah.
both of those.
And we're working on other things, but sometimes chasing people down it proves to be difficult.
Yeah. Well, we were trying to get Andy Sneap, and now he's like deep in tour with Judas Priest. So.
Yeah, and that will happen eventually, but
Mhm.
I'm going to Vegas next week, and I think I will talk to Dave Rude from Tesla
Okay.
about coming on the show.
That'd be good.
The younger member of Tesla. Of course, he's been in Tesla like 15 years or something now, or 18 years or something. But Dave's a cool guy. He likes gear.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. That would be great. Tesla, I told you Tesla, I saw them. They saved the day for Def Leppard down here.
Oh,
for
yeah.
the show, which was pretty wild because the singer came out and had to save Joe Elliott, who lost his voice pretty much.
Yeah.
So and Tesla was great.
All really sweetheart of guys in that band. Frank, the other guitar player, is great. He's really nice. And Sammy Bowler just recently had to fill in for him.
Right. I saw that.
He had to learn the songs at a fucking drop of a hat, and do 2 shows with them because some personal family issues that Frank had to go deal with.
Right. Well, I mean that's no small task.
His father-in-law is Dickie Betts. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
How's Dickie doing these days? He was sick for a while, right?
He's still sick. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
So you were on like the world tour, or at least the U.S. tour.
It was a minor tour.
Yeah. Tell us how that went.
I went to New York for my wife's birthday because she wanted to go to New York, and also my oldest daughter lives in New York. She lives in Brooklyn, and we were going to see her. She wanted to see, see our place and stuff and all that.
That's where I'm from.
So I drug my wife and my son, and we were in New York for a week, and then after that week, I did a couple clinics with Sammy Bowler at End Stuff Music in Pittsburgh, and then Matt's Music in the Boston area, suburb of Boston, Weymouth or something.
I thought you went to Pittsburgh. You went to Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh. That's End Stuff Music's in Pittsburgh. End Stuff
was Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah. Unbelievable store, and it's even more unbelievable now because they did they had taken over the building next door, which they had the last time I was there years ago, but they hadn't converted it over yet to what it became. They made a clinic area that you would think is a club, like really done up. It's a club. It's like a full sound system, a stage. There's going to be a bar that's going to go in it. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. Probably one of the best clinic facilities I've seen. It's really cool.
That's cool. So you only did 2 of them?
We only did 2 clinics, yeah. Well, we were trying to book some more, but it just didn't work out.
Oh, really? I would imagine that would be such a high demand thing for people.
Well, it just didn't work out in the time frame that we were trying to book them.
I gotcha.
This is right around Easter. Kind of awkward,
Right.
So, so we left New York. We left New York on Monday, drove to Pittsburgh, and then did, stayed overnight, and then did the clinic the next day. And then that was the long drive, then we had to go from Pittsburgh. Well, theoretically, we were going from Pittsburgh to Boston, but Thursday was when we needed to be in Boston. So we stopped in Philadelphia and stayed the night, and then continued on to that, which is about halfway.
To get yourself a cheesesteak there?
No,
Oh,
no, Philly. I did some Vietnamese food in Philly at a really cool, like hip, cool Vietnamese restaurant.
oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
My wife had a friend there in Philly, so.
I like
So
Philly.
yeah, it was good.
So the amps behind you, are they exactly the same? All 4 heads?
All of them are the same, yeah. All 8 of Chris's heads are the same.
And it's just a stock BE
It's an older BE 100. Yeah.
with what features?
He doesn't use. There's no HP channel.
Okay.
There's just a BE channel and a clean channel. And frankly, I think he just uses the BE channels. He has the ability to use the clean channel, but I think he just uses the BE channel, and then he uses his Voxes for the cleaner thing.
Mm.
Or maybe he uses the clean for clean, and then the Voxes for semi gritty, and then he uses the BEs for the drive stuff. It's a big rig.
Yeah, it's awesome. He just recently had on his podcast
Wolfgang.
He had Wolfgang, that was a really good episode. It was nice.
Yeah, I've been beating down that path too. So
yeah, we'll get him on one of these days, hopefully. That'll be good.
Beat down a few other people too.
Yeah, well, I just want to mention I heard back from Chad Kinchla, I should say. Yeah, Chad Kinchla from Blues Traveler.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's going to come on.
Oh great, cool.
Yeah,
that's different.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of that.
I didn't even know who that was. So.
You didn't know Blues Traveler?
Well, I know Blues Traveler, but I didn't know the name of the guitar player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I saw them way back when, before, like, right when they came out with their first album, and I saw them a couple times upstate New York and in the city, and it's kind of, we have a tie to them. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to reach out to him. It's super cool. I reached out to him on Instagram. He answered me, and so he's gonna. I'll make it work, make it happen. So
man, it's great when people actually answer the Instagram.
Yeah. I reached out to what's his name, Matteo Mancuso, the guy, that amazing guitar player, who is that his name? I'm looking at it right now.
Not Matteo Asada.
No, where'd it go? No, he's like the new guy, like who plays with his fingers. God, I can't. Matteo Mancuso is his name.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
He was on Rick Beato's show as probably one of the hottest up and coming guitar players. I'll send you a video of this guy. It's insane.
Okay.
He plays like this
with
2 fingers, like he's playing bass, but he's like ripping on guitar.
I might have seen him somewhere.
Yeah, it's insane. Anyway, I wrote him, but I haven't heard back. Hopefully he'll write me back, because I think he's killer guitar player. Let's jump to some questions. But before I do that, I also want to say I saw Foreigner.
Yeah,
which was awesome.
Great show, isn't it?
It was a fantastic show. April loved it. Bruce, what a sweetheart of a guy.
Oh yeah,
really nice guy.
But they put on a great show. Holy crap.
Awesome show. Awesome show. People had a lot of fun. Where they played, it was like Retirement City, so it was a bit of an older crowd, and it's so funny. The singer at one point, he's like, "All right, everybody, finally, we're doing the last song. Can you guys get off your ass?" And like no one was standing for like most of the show. It's just a very old crowd, but it was a great show.
You are in Florida.
Yeah, and it was Fort Myers. Exactly. It was Fort Myers where they were playing, so very, very old.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it was cool, man. Bruce is a great dude. And he was using, he said I believe this is what he said. He said he was using the BE mixed with a matchless.
Yeah, that's what he's always been doing. Yep.
I was going to meet up with him before the show to kind of do a video of his rig and also Jeff's, and the whole thing. But he actually called me when I was driving out there, and he was just like getting off the plane.
Oh yeah.
He's like, Mark, I totally forgot about it. He's like, is it too late? And I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it, man. I'll just see you after the show. Don't even freak out about it. So he was a good guy. Humbucker, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Dave, is it easier to dial back a modern amp back to sound vintage or boost a vintage amp to sound modern? Also, what's up with the Marshall price drops?
Good question on the Marshall price drops. What I think it is, and now I haven't looked at this all. I just actually heard about this today. I apparently have been living under a rock. Marshall eliminated their distribution in the US. So my guess is because they eliminated their distribution, they can lower their prices here. Because the distributor has, there's a mark for the distributor, and that's why Marshall stuff historically has been way more expensive here in the U.S. than in the UK.
And does that?
That's my guess. I haven't really looked at the prices, so I can't analyze this, and I'm just guessing here. So,
I didn't notice a price drop. I mean, quite frankly, I was looking at that JTM 20 that they came out with. And that's still at $17.99, I think.
Those look cool.
Yes. Like I was like, I think I won't.
I mean, honestly, just visually, I love how it looks.
Yeah, I mean, I would send it to
when
you.
Pete Thorne first did a video of it, he had it here, and I think I saw it before. Most people saw it, and I'm like, oh God, I love it.
Yeah, it looks sweet.
Let me mod it.
Right, that's the thing. Like, I think I would just get one and send it to you to have you mod or something. Okay, so yeah, what do you think about the first question?
Oh, I'm gonna say that would depend on what amp you're starting with. And how modern and how vintage. Like say you have a stock Plexi style amp or something, right? And you want to make that that is only going to go so far. If you want to make it modern sounding, you probably need some sort of boost in front of it for sure. But then say you have a Freedman BE channel, let's say, and I don't know how modern we're talking or what that is. That's why I can't. So maybe you get that out of a Freedman BE channel, like kind of heavier and stuff that you feel is a modern sound. And then you just simply roll your volume knob back. You can probably get the more vintagey tone out of it just by doing that. So the question is, how extreme are the sounds you need? Yeah. I'm personally of the opinion, like when you're talking a dynamic amp, like say the new Plex amp that's going to come out, right? When you're talking about a dynamic amp like that, it can be full on raging. I don't know if you want to call that modern, but it can be full on raging. And just simply by playing different or rolling the volume knob off on the guitar, it can be like, Tom Petty or classic rock or Eric Clapton or something. And it's really, I often say it's like, okay, I say I have the amp dialed in for the Eddie Van Halen sound, so to speak. Well, that's really the same as every other classic Marshall-esque sort of tone that ever existed with your rolling down on your volume knob and everything else,
Right.
I don't know. Really.
To me, I think it's easier to take a more modern amp and scale it back as opposed to, like, you say a vintage amp, but like
there's so many variables with this, it's almost
right.
impossible to just say, because we need to know more. Oh, okay, you want your Fender Deluxe amp to be Metallica? I mean, no,
that's where I was going. That's never going to sound as good.
Ever. Yeah.
So Yeah.
I mean, in that case, you actually can get some pedals that will make your Fender Deluxe amp sound like a raging modern amp.
But
But I'm not really totally a pedal guy, So
yeah, I don't know. I've done that before, and I just feel it just sounds so small.
I like to get it out of the amp
Yeah, me
if I
too.
can.
Yeah, thanks for the question. We appreciate it, Humbucker. JF, what's going on? To get a non-master volume amp sound, why are there not more amps that contain a preamp, low watt power amp into a higher headroom power amp? Guytron sort of did that, but I wonder why not more.
Well, I mean, yeah, Guytron did do that. It was essentially a slave 20-watt amp into a 100-watt power section. He did it in sort of a weird way, but yeah. Why isn't there more of that? Well, first of all, it's generally it's kind of big and cumbersome to do. It's not so simple when you can just buy a power station and then you have it. It's yes, to put it all in one amp would be more convenient, sure. But it's more transformers, it's heavier, it's and personally I wouldn't want just a small amp, low wattage amp. I'd want like at least a 50-watt amp that you're loading down and then putting into a 100-watt amp. And that's a lot of transformers and a lot of weight and a lot of everything. At that point, it's just sort of easier to just use the power station with your amp. It's pretty small and it's 2 channels. It has effects loop and,
Right.
Seems like a logical choice. That's why it was made.
Yeah, I agree. I love the power station.
Now, might there be other things that you could do? Yes, there is. There's some stuff I want to experiment with, but I haven't yet. And, I don't know. We'll see.
By the way, speaking of Fryette, when he comes on the show, he's going to be talking about something new.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
I know what it is too. But I ain't saying it's cool.
I have no idea, but I know what it is. I might even have one here.
Well, that you beat me. I don't have it.
So, yeah.
The next question is from Zeke Downey. What's going on? Good to see Dave finished up your pedal board, Mark. Noticed you have the Lightspeed great pedal. Fingers crossed for Jerry Cantrell on the show. Yeah, we'd love it. It's actually at this point it's kind of ridiculous. Like we're going on 7 years, and like the biggest artist Dave works with, we haven't had him on. But
yeah, well, I mean, we have had a lot of them on.
No, I'm talking about the biggest, like one of the biggest artists.
Oh yeah.
But it's okay. He'll come on.
Well, eventually. The weird thing is he said yes, and then it goes to management. You know what? I'll just hit him up directly again, and I'll finagle it somehow.
Yeah, we got to get him on.
Yeah. Now, tone talk. He's not much of a tone talker, but he's not that a gear.
He's not a gear guy.
Yeah. Not that gear centric of a guy. But we can surely talk about other things.
Right.
It'll probably be. My guess would be probably an hour and a half show or something. That's my guess. I don't imagine we're going to get him for a super long time. But hell, even if it was an hour, it'd be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Even whatever. I mean, we when we had Joe Satriani, it was only an hour.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Some people
will just state that up front and try to do that.
Yeah. We'll make it work. As far as the pedal board, yeah, man. Dave finished it up. I'm sitting here trying to figure out how I can share a picture of it. And I can't for some reason. If I do it, it's going to be like all weird. Trying to share my screen, but it's like only letting me do it for.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool sounding. The line 6 always makes things a little difficult, but yeah. It's cool.
What What was the problem with line 6? Like, why does it?
Oh no, they make it over. I think they make it slightly overly complicated to program and things. It's a good unit though. It sounds cool.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, if I click this, I'm going to try this. I don't know if this is going to work. And then it says
blow up the show. Go ahead.
I'm going to try this, share the screen, and then let's see. Oh, you see how that became all weird, right?
That just sharing your screen.
Do you see that?
No. Oh, it's blank.
Okay. See, fucking. Hey, God. I need to learn how to do this better. Forget it. Okay.
I need to go to Tone Talk school.
Exactly. I need to go to StreamYard school. Sorry, everybody. Anyway, it's a great pedal board. It's got 6 pedals overall. It's 5 pedals plus the HX effects. And Dave has in the front, it's a 5
Boss MS5 switcher.
Yeah, switcher.
MS5? ES5, sorry.
Yeah, and the patches are basically the first patch is like it's set for the gel amp. So the first patch is a clean with a chorus and a compressor. And the chorus and the compressor are coming from the HX effects. And then next patch 2, is for where I want to get more classic rock sound, like AC/DC.
Kind of a light crunch that I use the crunch channel on the JEL, and I use the Greer Lightspeed pedal a little bit, boosting it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was like a light crunch, so it was like, I thought that would be cool for that.
Yep. And then number 3 is a
fuzz tone, right?
A fuzz.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That I just randomly listened to a bunch of fuzzes in the HX, and I was like, well, this one's sort of big muffy. This one's kind of cool. It's not too over the top, and it's not too the opposite direction. It's a fuzz.
It sounds like a fat fuzz. Yeah.
Yeah, fat fuzz. It's cool.
Yep. And then patch 4 is Van Halen-ish.
Yep. Pitch, detune, delay.
And it's on the overdrive channel of the gel.
Yeah.
Channel 2.
And then a boosted version of the same thing.
Yep. And that's the one thing that we need to talk about. So I just need to make a couple of edits here and there, and then we'll make it work. But yeah, I used it with the band that night when I got it, and it sounded great.
Well, you can always do another bank of sounds too.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I'd love to do that. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Once you learn how to use it, although the editors will be your friend. The boss,
right.
The boss editor and the Line 6 editor will be your friend big time.
Oh, so there's a boss editor you can download also for you.
Yep. So before we do anything, you probably should at least get that working where it connects to the boss and or connects to the Line 6, and you can see it and all that.
Okay.
Because then you can share your screen and it'd be really useful.
All right. I'll do that. I'll do it this weekend. That'll be cool. Yeah, so that's the pedal board, and next time I'll come prepared. Next show I'll come prepared with a picture of it so I can share it on this show. Sloppy Fingers, what's happening? Happy Friday. Congrats on the success with the IRX. I love it, and have it on a switcher with my Kingsley preamp pedals, all feeding a Marshall 9100 power amp. I like the space-saving preamp pedal world. Yeah, man.
Oh, that's cool. You have all the small stuff, and then you're going into a big behemoth.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I bet it sounds great. I wonder what you're running what speaker are you using? Like a cabinet are you running into?
At the clinic we did at Matt's Music, we used the IRX straight into Fryette Power Station. And it worked awesome for that.
Yeah, great. Right? That's a great power amp.
Yeah.
So the PS2 or the 100?
PS100. I had it there because we were showing the Plex and stuff, some of the stuff, and And frankly, it's a small store, so I mean, like, yes, I have a master, but I wanted to have. I just brought it in case. So, but then I showed how the master worked, and I showed it also for a second without the without any attenuation.
Nice. How loud was it?
That was loud. But with in the variac mode on that amp, it's not exorbitantly loud. I mean, it's loud, but it's I I know people that would play with that. But in this day and age, it's probably exorbitantly loud.
Right. Hey, by the way,
everyone has become little. Well, I won't go what they've become.
Trust me, I was just having this conversation with a buddy of mine who actually gigs down here in Fort Lauderdale area. He does the whole bar scene everywhere. He and his band. They're called what the fuck is the name of the band? Anyway, it'll come to me. But yeah, we were just talking about sound guys.
Yeah.
And how they are he's like, they just complain about, oh man, if you don't turn down, I'm just gonna have to I'll just turn you off the PA and just let your amp just go then.
And in some rooms that works fine. And might be better.
Probably, I guess. But
Yeah.
but that's kind of a threat from the sound guy. Like,
oh well, whatever. How generally most people do it is they turn down a lot, make the sound guy happy. Is that good? That's really good. Great. Awesome. They start playing, they turn it all the way up.
Right.
And then they ask the sound guy after, how was it? How was everything good? Was it good up front? Oh yeah, everything was great. Everything was fine. Okay.
You didn't notice I turned it all the way up?
That's because they always say this shit when it's an empty room completely.
Right.
Sounds bouncing all around, and you fill the room completely with people, and then all of a sudden this sound doesn't go anywhere. It's like, never mind.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Irritating.
Yep. Philippe Van Shake Willig. What's up, man? A couple of shows back, Dave said he had John Sykes amps there. Yes, he did.
Yep.
Was it just regular maintenance, or is John polishing the wheels to get back out there finally again? Any news you can share about him?
I don't know what John might be doing or not doing as far as getting back out there. I wish he would get back out there for sure. I was servicing a couple of his old boogies he had, and then I serviced the Mark III he had, and then I have a Marshall here of his. So I'm doing lots of stuff. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, well, at least he's still playing.
I've literally told him my feelings, and he should be playing. And we'll see if that ever happens or not.
Hopefully. I'm gonna sneeze. Allergies, man.
Bless you.
Sorry, guys.
Times two.
Oh, thank you. Scotty Phoenix. Greetings from Philly. No hate, just curious what you each didn't like about Randy's tone. P.S. Just got my purple small box combo delivered today. Oh, nice, purple. Love it. Awesome. Well, for me, it's not that I hated or didn't like it. It's not that I just wouldn't prefer it overall. It just, to me, was a bit nasally and thin.
It depends on what tone, the recorded tone, not recorded tone.
I'm talking about recorded tone.
Like I've heard some live stuff where it sounded really cool, like out of control, crazy Marshall kind of thing.
No, just the first album.
But yeah, yeah, it's hard to put into words why. Just
it doesn't sound as big.
It just doesn't. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's like a distortion plus into in through a graphic EQ into the front of a Marshall.
Which is weird. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's archaic times. That was a common thing to do with the 10-band EQs and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I was never a fan.
Yeah. I mean, look, I love his playing, and I still think the music sounds fantastic. It's just, if I could swap in Eddie's tone with Randy's playing, it would, to me, it would.
I don't know if that would work though. I mean, you could say at this point that tone was a sound, and the sound was part of the Ozzy thing.
Yeah, I guess.
So,
Yeah.
um,
But Jakey Lee's tone was thicker, and
I like Jake's
not.
tone better.
Yeah, I like Jake's tone better as well. Yeah,
But it was a different thing. But of course, I like Jake better. Period. But that's me. And sue me. Sorry.
no, I mean,
I love Randy though. I really do. I mean, just
for me, I
just had
think if I had to go one way or the other, love Jake, but
it's apples and oranges, man. Do you like apples or do you like oranges?
yeah,
You know?
in this case, I like Randy. I would take
Yeah.
Randy's writing, and but I still think Jake's fucking awesome. So it's really hard to choose. By the way, I want to bring up, here's my own super chat. Yeah, I'm going to throw up $5. All right. So
wait. So if you're asking, then you're asking me the question. So then you're going to send me $5.
I got to send you $5. Exactly. So there was this debate online because there is a quote of Ed, and if I'm wrong, I will admit I'm wrong right here on the air. And Alan Garber, I will admit I'm wrong. There's a debate online because there's a quote that Ed says, "I never used distortion pedals. I always went straight from the guitar right into the amp." And that's pretty much what his quote was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I said, look, I love Ed, love him to death, but I think he's a bit misleading in what he's saying, especially for his live tone. He used a graphic EQ, 2 of them, and he definitely was boosting his amps, and it had some effect in gain. That's what I said. I think it had an effect in the gain. The other people said, there were some people who said, no, it's not a distortion pedal. I said, yes, you're right. And then the other thing was that he was just using those GE 10s for loss of signal because he was using such long cables. So
this is true.
But was he getting extra gain out of those graphic EQs? That's my question.
Good question.
Very,
very good. There is some elements of the past that are not totally defined. There's a lot of elements, like with that amp. I mean, what he told me personally is on the records and stuff, he plugged directly into the fucking amp.
Well, and I will agree.
But I don't think that's totally true because he still had some sort of pedal board, and he still had a phase 90, and he still had a flanger, and
there's pictures
and all of that shit still will change the tone some. You have to realize that. So this is a flanger that does not have a true bypass, and then you're going to a phaser that does not have a true bypass, and you're maybe going into the front of an echoplex that doesn't have a true bypass, and all of that's changing the guitar sound some. And then what I feel is what was done was the EQ was there to sort of bring back some things that were lost by running through some of this stuff. And then also in the early days, it was a really long cable. And then in the early days, you also had later you had a wireless, and then you had a Schaefer Vega wireless.
Mm-hmm.
That's adding some sort of gain too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and who the hell knows?
Okay.
This is the problem. So, and then I want to have Ozzy from Three Monkeys on.
Yeah.
You ever watch his videos?
No, I haven't, but
you should check Ozzy Ahern or Asher. I forgot I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He has a lot of he's always chasing this Van Halen thing, and he has a lot of hypothetical analysis of what was done or not done, and was there an amp slaved into another amp, or and you know, we just don't really know. You really have to just do detective work on some of this stuff, you know?
Right. Right.
But what I was told from Rudy Laren was early I have a quote somewhere online somewhere when I said this early, and I might not remember all of it. I recently found it and reread what I had said. But Rudy Laren had told me it was just the pedalboard into the amp, one head, one cab. And then later, as things got bigger, more amps were added but there was always one amp to one cab, another amp to another cab. That and what he had told me also was that all those other amps that he had were just backup amps, because one time Ed blew up in his amp and he didn't have a backup, and he had to literally leave the gig and run somewhere to get another amp. And ever since then, he would beg, plead, and borrow all sorts of amps from other people
just to have a backup.
Just to have a backup of some sort. And it could have been all sorts of things. But then there's other things that were talked about. I remember an article where he described I think it might have been around Fair Warning, or maybe it was earlier than that. Maybe it was Van Halen 2, where he used 2 amps in conjunction with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And he used what looks like a stick of dynamite, was the words that came out of his mouth, hooked up, this was, I think, incorrect, hooked up to the fuse holder of the amp, and one amp would actually have less power than the other. Well, that to me is a load resistor, and it probably wasn't hooked up to the fuse holder. It was probably hooked up to the speaker jack of the first amp, and that amp was slaving into the other amp. So that's a very, 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 very good possibility. But there is no picture anywhere.
There's no picture of that?
There is no picture anywhere of that setup with a load resistor hanging out of the back of the amp or anything.
Oh, okay.
Could it have existed early on? Yeah. Later on, he used a load resistor to load down his amp, and then it would go into H&H power amps and stuff, But that might have come from somewhere, And I know Jose, who was his amp tech, was he knew about that setups with load resistors and things, and putting them into other power amps and things like that. Because I remember him showing Joe Holmes some of that stuff a million years ago. So it is hypothetically possible that it was a head loaded down a certain way, and then a line out fed into the front of another amp. It is potentially possible. But pictures don't really exactly tell that.
Well, the pictures that I was examining now, it's not for VH1, but I think it's those pictures that Slowzauer did for VH2 when they're in Sunset Sound.
Yeah.
There is no GE10 on the floor.
No.
It's just it's a
flanger.
Well, you got the flanger and phaser, and then it's right in.
Right in, yeah.
Yeah. And then he's got his bomb there. So he's
and then there's also, and then what Rudy Laren told me too is like for eruption and stuff, they would patch in the Univox echo and then unpatch it again after the eruption was done. And eruption was done through a separate rig, which I did think had an EQ and path for more gain.
So it's possible.
Who knows?
Right. It's possible. I'm right. We're all just debating.
I was trying to get Rudy Laren, but he won't come on.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I got in touch with him, but he won't come on.
He signed that NDA.
I don't know.
I'm just kidding. It seems like everybody who's
Rudy's a great guy. I mean, I asked him a bunch of questions a long time ago, but
that's cool.
The fuck if I know?
Yeah, that's too bad.
But what Ed told me is in the studio, it was just guitar into amp, cab.
Right.
Now, whether or not, from what I also know, is he ran the amp at 8 ohms into a 16 ohm cab.
Okay.
Which changes everything. The Variac changes everything. It's pickups change everything. So I want to have Ozzy on though. I gotta reach out to him, or maybe you can reach out to him.
Yeah. Let me put it down.
Somehow, Free Monkey's website probably.
Yeah, I'm sure I can reach out.
Because actually that would be a really deep dive into a rabbit hole of hell.
I love this shit. So
his videos like really deep dive, but he he goes out, he goes, this is a hypothesis, like he's not saying that this is it, but he's got some really good results doing a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of Jim Gaustad also, who does the same kind of
might be even closer, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, and Jim's close.
Yeah, Jim's close.
So,
but Jim's not boosting anything.
I don't think so. No. No.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Luke Wilson, what's up? Dave, why do you like the EL34s for your 20 watt amps versus EL34s like the Marshall 20 watt studio amps?
Well, an EL34 would be a neutered EL34 would be a neutered version, meaning super low voltage on it and stuff. And the EL84 sounds great.
It does sound great.
If you compare them, a 100 watt amp to a 20 watt amp at a reasonable volume, meaning you're not pushing it beyond belief. I've proven this at NAMM shows. You can't tell the difference which amp is which.
Mm-hmm.
And there's videos out there of people. It's like, no, that's the 20 watt.
Well, it's only at a certain volume.
At some point in time, like if you push the power section beyond the brink of into distortion, then yeah, okay, sure, the other amp has way more headroom.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're playing low volume, yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah, it's nearly indiscernible. So, James McNair, how's it going? Dave, love my 3 Freedmans. Now I'm looking for a Fender style clean distortion. Have you been inside a Tone King Imperial 2 or an Amplified Nation Dirty Wonderland? Curious about their build quality.
I mean, the Tone King's great. That's built in the same factory as where mine is made. That Tone King Imperial is a cool amp. Amplified Nation, I've heard about it. I haven't been in one. I don't really know anything about it.
I know Mike Torn just got one of those.
Oh yeah,
or he's got it for a little while, but yeah, he loves it. Says it's great.
Yeah, it could be really cool.
Speaking of that, before we so Fender style clean, anything else that you would recommend for James here? Fender style clean distortion.
I mean, the Tone King Imperial is a good choice. It's a cool amp.
Yeah. Third Power also makes us something similar.
Oh yeah, they make like a cleaner kind of deal.
Yeah. Or the kitchen sink she has or something like that.
Yeah.
So that might be.
I mean, one day maybe I might make something in the vintage line that is, in that vein. It's a long way off though.
By the way, Delana wants to come on and talk about the new stuff that she's working on.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep. So I think she's going to wait till the summer tour when things get, but
cool.
We'll get it worked out. Wait. Did I switch? No, I'm good. Demetrius Patton, what's up, man? Dave, what can be done to make a Voodoo Lab amp selector quieter? I've had one sitting on a shelf for years now because I get a lot of FM radio on mine. Just wondering if there's a mod to fix it. Sounds.
You get FM radio, huh? That's a good question. You shouldn't be getting that. Not off the top of my head, no. I'm not sure. It could have something to do with the isolation transformers they used in those. not being shielded really, and that could be part of it.
Okay. Before I move on to the next question, Dave, do you want to talk about your guitars?
Yeah, well, we can tie this in with Sweetwater promotion too,
Okay.
So Sweetwater, one of our sponsors, I just want to talk about, Freedman guitars are back and strong. They've been back for a while, actually. We kind of ramped up production, but they're back in full swing. And now we've partnered with after Grover left the not left the country. I was about to say leave the country. He didn't leave the country. He left the state. We couldn't do a long distance thing with guitars. So we partnered with Billy Rowe from Rock and Roll Relics to do the new versions of our guitars. And there's a few slight spec changes. I felt that the necks had gotten a little bit bigger over time, and we pulled it back to the original kind of spec on the necks, and which is a smidge smaller than what they had become. And I think we changed fret size on the vintage guitars. So the vintage T and the vintage S guitars have a Jessicar version of the 6105 fret of Dunlop's. So it's a taller, it's more jumbo. It's taller and thinner, not a 6100 kind of equivalent. I can never remember the Jessicar part number, so forgive me. You can look on Sweetwater and find out, though. And it's instead of a compound radius that's 10 to oh god, what was it before? It's now starting at 9.5, and it goes to,
I think it was 10 to 14 before, wasn't it?
Was 10 to 14 before. Now it's 9.5 to. If you click on one of those, one of the vintage S guitars,
Vintage S?
that
Okay.
vintage S. So like the vintage S over here, the green one, the surf green, over 3-tone burst, and which this is a killer guitar. It is what is the spec? Sorry, 9.5 to 12 instead of 14.
Where does it say?
But look,
there it is. Yeah, 9.5.
We have a duplicate.
Let me
here of that guitar. But as you can see, look at this. Look at it's just like the
beautiful
three-dimensional depth of the sunburst below it and stuff. You can kind of see that in the picture, right?
Yep.
And this is like a killer guitar. And then we have the finish ripped away on the back of the neck, so it's got that natural raw wood feel. And man, it just feels great,
Awesome. Yeah, I've got a Cali. I love my Cali, so
feels great. And this I particularly like this color. This one's awesome. I think that's a cool guitar. If anyone wants this guitar, get it from Sweetwater and use our link. It's but it's really killer.
So they've got a lot in stock.
Yeah, no, they have a lot in stock. Yeah, and then
9 guitars.
Yeah. Like there's a ice blue metallic P90 guitar.
Yeah, this one is
cool. Like that one.
Yeah.
And again, this is a mahogany body in this one. So the mahogany body is really cool with the P90. So it gives you that kind of, junior-y sort of tone out of it.
Want to show it again? Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, see the relicking and the.
Yep. Very nice.
See the computer screen in it. And again, the beat up back of the neck. The Kluson style vintage locking tuners on everything. Same P90 pickups that we make for years. Super cool. Good weight. Not bad. And Plays really good. I mean, the fretwork's fantastic. I would say better than it was before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then here, this is the guitar that started it all. So this is a real simple telly, right? This is telly, the vintage T telly.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the guitar that sort of started it all.
Reminds me of
I wanted a straight up rock and roll style hardtail, guitar. And this has a maple neck, which is always my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And man, the necks just feel awesome now. They're a little smaller than they had wound up being. They started smaller, but somehow over the years they wound up being a little bit bigger. And there's a fine line between big and
too big.
too big. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, guys, pick up
And
the
the bigger frets. The bigger frets are amazing. I mean, you can just get under the string really well on these guitars,
And are you using nickel or stainless?
These are nickel because I hate stainless.
Okay.
Although on our NoHo guitars we use stainless, but that was kind of a more modern guitar. I'm just not. I don't know.
I love it.
I don't love stainless.
To
Hear
me,
this ping in it that bugs me.
there is, yeah, I guess there's a little ping, but I don't know. You're never gonna wear them out. They stay forever.
Yeah, but I think you should wear them out. You should have to get fret jobs. Come on.
It's a pain in the ass, especially
a good guitar guy.
Yeah. Randy Chapman, thanks for the super chat. I don't know where your question is though. So, and for me to go searching for it is going to be a pain in the ass. Let's see if I can find it real quickly. While we all wait, I'm just
Here, I got one for you. Here is the second, the first question in the whole chat. SK1717 says, did Dave ever have a need to mod, recap, bias Ed's H&H 800s in the live rig? No, I never had to do that. H&H's, he had a ton of them. And there was a guy out here that would service them, who I don't believe is servicing them anymore. But there was a guy out here that went through them and serviced them. But I don't think it was ever recapped or anything.
And what outputs were used into the wet, dry, wet, or into the wet 4x12s?
What do you mean? The speaker outputs.
Okay, that makes sense.
There's only speaker output. There's banana plug speaker outputs on the back of them.
Okay. Any other recollections of the live rig?
Well, the live rig was, at least in the eras that I was working with him, was a 3 cabinet setup where the center dry off the amp head and then through the effects into the 2 wet cabinets. The wet cabinets also had dry in them. When you turned off all the effects, it was 3 equal volume dry cabinets going. So I'm not sure what other recollections. I think it's been reasonably well documented what was going on with a lot of the rigs. But if you have a specific question, ask.
Yep. Which reminds me, guys, make sure you press subscribe and click the bell. All right?
Oh my God, you please. I mean, how many people are watching right now?
Yeah, we got 376 people.
376 people. How many of you are actually subscribers? That's what I want to know.
I bet it's half at least.
So just click it.
Yeah, come on.
Not really that hard.
Please.
The more subscribers we get, the better off for everyone. The more,
Yep. Well, more
the more
views
we can
we'll
bring
get.
you.
We'll get you more guests. Exactly.
Yep.
The whole thing. What comes around goes around. Or goes around comes around. So check out fixpedalboards.com also, guys. All right. They've got some awesome stuff, which reminds me, Dave, you used a riser on that pedal board, right?
The fixed pedal boards they're not on their site yet, but yes, I used a junction box on the side of your board.
Yes, that was cool
is,
too. Yes.
the junk box, I think number 4 or something. 4 outputs, right? 6
Yeah,
outputs.
four.
4,
Four.
6, 4. Junk box 4. Those little junk boxes are great. So I had something to do with that. So they're passive, but they're TRS through on all the junk boxes. They're all done the right way. They have really good jacks. It's a great little box, and they come in a variety of sizes that you can use on a variety of pedal boards. Anything you need to patch in and out, that junk box is killer. So use them. They're great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I was
they have all different sizes and stack them double high, and how many connections do you need? So if you don't know about them, go to fixedpedalboards.com and check them out, along with the hinged riser lifts and the bridges and the individual pedal lifts they have. All of that stuff is tour worthy components that I use in rigs all the time. So
yep. And then also check out Thomann. All right, guys. And I want to correct myself from one of the last shows where I said that we didn't have any sales. We do. We actually have got some good sales from.
If you're in Europe, go to Thomann and purchase something with our link.
Yep, it's below.
We get a little kickback on that, and that helps the show a lot. So,
and one day when I finally get some time, I'm going to work with Mario, and we will get some new shirt designs done and get that out. There's only so many hours in a week. This is crazy. But we'll get it done. So with that said, next, Oscar Iseka Jr. What's up, man? Dave, what mod would you do to a 62 Blues Breaker reissue? Power transformer, KT66s, filter capacitors, Alnico Spicos. What would you do?
Oh boy. You could you could probably do some more vintage filtering like the originals had. You could probably do some of that. Maybe a different output transformer might be nice. A little bit richer sounding, although that's not the end all be all of it all. There's a couple other little tiny tweaks you could do to kind of. The reissue transformers are generally just a little harsher, a little more metallic sounding, a little less rich. So there's a couple little tweaks you can do though there's a little tweak that I do on some of the reissue amps just to make it a little bit warmer and a little richer sounding. KT66s could be cool if you make those filter cap changes and stuff. Speakers, Alnico speakers. I don't know about that. You don't necessarily have to do that. I think the greenbacks are fine. That generally came with them. That's my thoughts.
Okay. Cool. Z's guitar account. Thanks for the super chat, man. Greetings, gents. Apologies if this has been discussed already during a past episode, but will Wizard Rick ever be on the show?
I wish he would. He won't come on.
We've had folks who are like that.
I would really like him to, and I tried my best to talk him into it. And I've known him on and off for years. And he's a cool guy. I like Rick. I wish he would come on. He's just like, I don't really do that stuff. Okay.
Okay. Well, guys, reach out to Rick if you want him to be on the show. Maybe
and bug him.
Bug him, exactly. Reach out to him and say, hey, I want you on Tone Talk.
Everyone now go send Rick an email.
He'll thank us later.
Oh, I don't know if he'll thank us. But...
Well, yeah, if you want him on the show, reach out. Say, hey, come on Tone Talk. All right.
I'd love to have him on. I have no issue with that. I would love to.
Fix pedal boards. We were just talking about you.
Hey, Tim.
What's going on, man? Shazam, no question, just rocking out with you cats on a rainy Friday afternoon. Is it raining in LA?
I haven't looked outside lately. It's been kind of on and off all day. Like a little, it would rain for a while and then it wouldn't, and then it would stop, and then it would, I don't know about. I think it's done right now,
Well,
or at least
Tim,
where I am. Maybe not where Tim is.
hope you're doing well, Tim. Thanks for sponsoring the show. We do appreciate it. And again, guys, make sure you go check out Fixed Pedalboards. Tim is only working with us in terms of sponsoring, as far as I know. I don't think he does any other show, right?
No.
So we feel honored to have Fixed Pedalboards part of the family here. So, Mr. Anderson, what's up? Hey guys, Dave, my body and soul are ready for the Jose Dr. Feelgood Ham. Any more details to share? Price?
I have no details, but I am about to work all that out. So it's going to come into fruition here finally.
Okay. Awesome. I'm sitting down, by the way. Pentatonic Prancer. Hey, Dave and Mark.
Mark's just going, oh God, another amp.
I know.
I just stop coming out with amps, Dave.
I'm running out of room. Oh, speaking of that, okay, so you got to promote your guitars. Anything else on the guitars that you wanted to talk about before we moved on?
No, I think we're good there.
Okay, so guys, I do have 2 amps that I'm selling. So if anybody wants to purchase these from me, let me know. The first one is this. It's an Ampeg VL 1002 Lee Jackson amp. I've got that head. Dave was going to work on it for me. It's just not worth just shipping it all the way out there and whatever. I got enough, but it's a great amp. If anybody's interested, I'll give you a good price on it. It'd be under $1,000. So, and then the other amp that I'm interested in selling is this. It's a it's called the Springfield Reverb amp, made by Marsh. This is a guy who's local to me here in South Florida. This is like a 64 Vibrolux or Vibraverb kind of. But
not Vibraverb, right? It has a 12-inch speaker. It's probably like,
it's got 2 10s actually.
Oh, 2 10s. That's Vibrolux.
Yeah. And so the first channel, the normal channel, is actually a Dumble style.
So Dumble mod style.
Yeah, it's got a Dumble mod there with push-pull pots and also some push-pull stuff in the back as well. And then you've got the normal vibrato channel, the regular vibrato channel, which works like a regular Fender. And I upgraded the speakers to Webers. As you can see, that they sell for like $1,600. I'm again going to sell it for less than $1,000. So if anybody is interested, reach out to me as tonetalkmark@gmail.com.
Well, see, now you got me thinking, do I want to sell something?
So tonetalkmark@gmail.com. I'm definitely interested in selling both of those amps. The Fender style amp, the Marsh, I use that tons of gigs. That was my go-to amp for a long time. And then the Ampeg I just recently got. So, all right. Any questions on that?
I think I'll do stuff I want to sell at a different time.
Okay, that's all I got. So,
yep.
All right, Pentatonic Prancer, man. Thank you, Dave. Mark, how about getting Steve Brown from Trickster on? And could you possibly get Ace Frehley on at the same time, since he produced and played on Ace's new album? A lot of great stories there. I don't know Steve Brown or Ace Frehley to get him on here. Do you?
I don't.
I can reach out to Steve Brown.
You might be able to get Steve Brown. Yeah,
I can reach out to him on social media. Yeah, and see if I can get him. I know he's got his own line of guitars too.
He does.
Like a budget it's like a budget line for like professional style guitar.
Yeah, but they're pretty cool.
That's what I hear. Okay, cool. I'll reach out to Steve, see if he'll come on. And then I'd love to have Ace Frehley on. I mean, he's a legend. Even though
Absolutely.
I'm not a big Kiss fan, but there are songs.
Nor am I, but still, it's Ace Frehley.
It's Ace Frehley, exactly. Tobias Ryan, how's it going? Hey guys, Dave, how long was the development process for the JJ100 versus the JJ Junior? Was there a lot of back and forth with Jerry Cantrell and the Junior? Have both, love them.
No, pretty much the JJ100, the development process was over a year, maybe a year. Ish. I mean, he was using my amps before the JJ100, and then we're like, why don't we just make you your own amp? And so we had already kind of done it over, it might have been like 2 years. We had already kind of done the R&D with the amps he was using. And then the JJ Junior was simple. It was just make it sound like the 100. That's all it was. I mean, with a slightly simpler clean channel, which we did.
Yep.
Yeah, it sounds killer.
Absolutely. I mean, I was there at NAMM when you guys rolled that out, and we were comparing on the AB switcher the 100 versus the Junior, and everybody was guessing. They're like, "Oh, it's the Junior," and you're like, "No, it's the 100."
Yeah, exactly. So that tells it all right there.
Right. Zabawabo, what's going on? Thanks for the great show, guys. Dave, are there any records or recordings out there that feature your amps that you're particularly proud of? That's a good question. That's cool.
I know.
Well, the new Metallica album.
The new Metallica has my amp on it with Kirk Hammett. I know there were some songs that were done with Steve Stevens. Well, Steve's stuff over the last bunch of years has all been done with the Freedman amps, including the band that he was doing with Geezer Butler. The couple songs that were released there, that was his pink Freedman amp. That's awesome. It's so funny. There's not many albums made anymore. You know what I mean? Like, so like, it's not like, so if my amps would have come out in like 1980, whatever, 85, let's say,
they'd be documented. Yeah.
They'd be on so many records because so many records were being made, and now it's like, oh, we haven't made a record for 10 years, It's like the same amount of music isn't coming out. There is people using my amps. I mean, Mastodon has used amps. Cantrell has used amps.
I was gonna say Jerry has to.
I mean, there's a blend of different amps on the records, but definitely there's some Freedman in there. Mastodon too. There's some Freedmans in there for sure. I know Phil X has used his amp on a bunch of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, you might have heard a Freedman amp on Daughtry's album or something like that.
Yeah. So I'll be right back.
Okay. No problem. Murray guitar pickups. Brian was right. I don't know what that's about. Brian from Carson Amps, maybe? I don't know. Let's see what we got here. So, Zeke Downey, nice to watch the shows live again. I was not able to watch the last two live. Keep up the good work. Love Tone Talk. Hey, thanks so much. We love doing it. We continue the work on getting more guests. So that's the key. And I'm working on that. It's not easy. Like Andy Sneap is like on tour right now, and so he was supposed to be one of the people that we were going to have on. So let's see what else we got here. James McNair, Dave, I find my Runt 50 to be a little bit more cussive and bright than my BE100 Deluxe. Is the Gel 20 even more so or similar to the Runt? And should I hold out for the Gel 50?
Okay.
It's definitely. I mean, I
The
don't.
Run 50 is on the brighter, slightly more percussive side than the B100 Deluxe. Although I tend to think you can dial in the B100 Deluxe to be this just as punchy as the Run 50 and percussive. Yeah, the Gel 20 is more so. The the Gel 50, you know, that's gonna be around eventually. That might be cool.
Yeah, and that'll be bright as well.
You know, you can't win. I find you can't win. So I have a guy that brought a Gel 20 in, and he finds the drive channel excessively bright.
Mm-hmm.
So and wants it changed, you know, or something. And I'm like going, I don't know.
Maybe just buy a different amp. You know.
Yeah,
maybe,
well, you know, can't win is what I'm
right.
saying.
Yeah,
Can't win. We can't win is what I'm saying. You know.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's always there's just so many opinions, so many different ears. People hear things differently. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just tough to please everybody. That's just the Jose G.
It's hard to please myself.
Yeah, do you go back
Oh my god, I'm constantly second guessing myself on things. and then generally I go to try to improve it, and then we realize it was good to begin with. So, you know.
Right.
I don't know.
But that's part of the quest, right?
It's the endless quest for tone in your head.
Yeah.
But you know what I found out recently? It's like really the tone in my head is the Plex amp that's coming out.
Hmm.
By the way, that will be out May 17th, I think. Yeah, like May 17th or something like that. So right around there.
See that fryette right there?
Yeah, it's waiting for it, isn't it?
It's waiting it.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the spot. That's waiting for it right there.
Man, there's something about how a non-Master Valley amp just responds to the guitar that I just love.
Mm.
And there's nothing quite like it with you know, preamp based amps.
Right. Different. I can't wait to get it. Awesome. Jose G, what's happening? Happy Friday. Dave and Passions, you mentioned the difference between a distortion and gain. Can you expand on this and how you approach distortion, gain, saturation when building your amps, chasing a sound in your head?
I mentioned a difference between distortion and gain, really? Really the same thing. How you approach distortion, gain, and saturation. Well, I mean, it's all the same thing to me. Saturation, distortion, and gain really is all saying the same exact thing. It's hard to describe when you're chasing that sound in your head, you know. It's hard to put that into words. I mean, you play certain riffs, you play certain things that, you know, and you listen to how you attack the E string and how it punches or doesn't punch, or is it too dark, or is it too bright, or is it too thin on the top, or when I play these certain riffs, does it do this certain harmonic thing in my head, you know, that I've heard on records and things like that. You know, records for me would have been like, you know, Van Halen records, or you know, like when you talk guitar tones, I mean, there's a lot of guitar tones. But you know, like the ones that really stand out in my head are always the Van Halen stuff, of course.
Mm-hmm.
George Lynch has gotten some epically great guitar sounds over the years on record. Under Lock and Key in particular, I really like. And what was the other one that was really good? It was Back for the Attack, or Under Lock and Key, though. I particularly like the guitar tones on that. I think those are like epically amazing guitar tones. I heard a song the other day on the radio, and I was like, "Oh God, that's good." You know, it's just you know, in my dreams or whatever, the guitar for in my dreams or whatever. I just, man, that's a good guitar tone.
Yep, good tone.
God knows what it was.
Right.
And you know, some of the tones that Warren DeMartini got, you know, some of the tones John Sykes got, some of the tones Akira Takasaki from Loudness got, especially on the second or the Lightning Strikes record, I really liked. You know, even some of the tones, although they were a little quirkier, like Ty Tabor got on King's X records and stuff, like Gretchen Goes to Nebraska record. That was a huge record for me when I was younger.
Billy Squire.
Billy Squire guitar tones were fucking epic.
Yes.
Epic Marshall tones. I mean, like, and live epic Marshall tones. Oh my God. Just like,
Yeah,
you know, a little more on the classic side, a little more on the Led Zeppelin side, you know, of things. But God, that's a good tone, you know. It's just, you know, even there's a couple 2 live performances, full concerts that are on YouTube. One is from the Santa Monica Civic Center, and one is from Detroit, I think, if I recall. And both of those are just like, oh my God, listen to this. It's volume.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You can hear the volume. And it, you know, and really that's what's missing a lot these days, you know? It's the interaction between. I was tweaking an amp with Dave Navarro the other day at rehearsals. And what we determined is he really likes the interaction at a certain volume between the amp and the guitar. And I'm like, well, yeah, you're only going to get that feedback and that stuff when it gets to a certain volume level. And that doesn't necessarily have to be huge volume level, but there has to be a certain pretty beefy volume level to start getting an interaction between the guitar and feedback and things from the amp. They were in a smaller room, so it was you know, they were dealing with a slightly lower volume than he normally plays. And like I was just talking to him about it. And then I also figured out, since we haven't talked to Dave for a while, you know, I also figured out that he is a crazy internet watcher now, and he watches our shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He watches our shows. He was even referencing some of the shows. and then he was referencing some Pete Thorne videos, and he was like all inquisitive about a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like going, you've been watching a lot, haven't you? Because, awesome. Yeah, I want to try this stuff and that stuff. And, you know, like, and then he was watching, I think he said he was watching the Jim Gosted Van Halen videos and stuff too. And he was really into that too, because, you know, like the kid in him was like all about Van Halen, you know?
Right.
And he was all talking about that. And I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's cool to hear.
That is awesome. And
you never know who's watching.
Well, let's get together and try some of this stuff you want to try, and let's just play with it. We just need to get in a room together with your stuff, and we just need to play with this stuff, you know, and try stuff and put it. He was like, what about delays in the loop of the amp? And what about this? And what about that? I'm like going, wow, you've really been doing your homework. I mean, like he really has, you know.
That's good. Yeah, he's more interested in the gear, because he admittedly,
he was like he was having some issues and long COVID issues.
Yeah, he was.
And so I think he was sitting at home watching all this stuff. You know.
Well, hopefully he's feeling better.
He seemed to be good. He seemed to be, you know, feeling pretty good. So
good to hear.
Yeah, he's back rehearsing, and like that's gonna happen again, you know, and with the original bass player and everything. So
with James, he's back.
Yeah, with Eric Avery.
Awesome. Yeah. Jay Stevens, Dave, can you add the master volume have on the Plex to any amp?
Any amp. Well,
any non-master volume amp, right?
Well, yeah. I'm not gonna. I don't think you should add it to something that is like a gainy amp already. Probably not the best choice. To a non-master volume style amp, it can be added, sure. I'd need to know what amp though, if it's gonna work out really well. That thing does work pretty well though. For sure. I mean, I've been testing plexes at the factory, and and I'm really, really kind of anal about how they sound, and I'm really, really making sure each one sounds great.
Awesome.
And if it doesn't sound great, I put it aside and like try to figure it out later. I mean, it's probably tube related or something, like that tube doesn't sound that great or something, which I'll figure out. But and so far they've been really consistent and really good though. So I think there's like one I found that was like, I don't love this one. Why don't I love this one?
Just it happens.
But I won't let it out the door if I don't love it.
Right.
So
good. That's good to hear. Peter Mancuso, what's going on? Any relation to Matteo? Just kidding. So when did standalone buffers become a thing? Was Cornish the first? Any chance Mario from Axis Guitar as a guest? I don't know Mario.
I'd love to have Mario. That would be great. And I think I asked him about it before. Another one we're gonna have, and I think I got to hit him up again, is George Trips.
Yes,
from Way Huge and Dunlop. And
I emailed him. He never wrote me back, I think.
Well, I mean, he had wrote me back that he was going to wait till after NAMM.
Oh, okay.
So now I'll hit him up too.
Okay.
And then I'm thinking about it. I have a busy life, and things like I can't always, remember. Like, I have to be reminded of things. When did standalone buffers become a thing? I think, to be honest, Cornish was probably one of the first people doing buffered rigs and stuff. You look at those rigs that, things that he did. Like recently some guy posted some stuff on Facebook about he was working at KK's Steel Mill studio or whatever, and stumbled upon the original Glenn Tipton and KK Downing Pete Cornish pedal boards,
right,
from the Judas Priest days. I don't know if you saw those pictures or anything.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and Pete Cornish was making these elaborate pedal boards way back in the 70s, and he was incorporating buffers into these pedal boards and things, and he had a concept of switching where there would be a buffer circuit kind of in between each pedal. I'm putting this really simply. And so every pedal saw like a proper amp input impedance. So it always reacted the same way. Which made a lot of sense, actually. So I would think Pink Cornish would be the first, for sure. Of the buffered guys. He was making those things way before anyone. I don't even know. I would really like to have him on the show. I don't know how old he is at this point, though.
Yeah, I wonder.
I mean, I think he's. I don't know his health status. I don't know, Maybe I'll find out here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know him and his. I mean, I know he's still around. Pete Cornish. No.
Well, he's I can't find when he was born. Doesn't have any information.
He's got to be like 80.
Yeah, I don't have like any of his like birth information or anything on here, so I don't know.
Maybe Wikipedia. No.
That's what I looked at. Yeah,
Uh,
his website barely works.
history. No. I mean, he was old a while ago. I wonder. We should try to contact him.
Yeah, I mean, there's a contact. There's an email right here on the page. So I have it, petecornishpedals@gmail.com. So
Try it.
I will try it.
Is that on his official page?
Yeah. So, yep, I'll try him. I have his phone number here too. All right, I'll reach out. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
But we better do it quick. Because I can't imagine he is
he's no spring chicken.
He's no spring chicken anymore. It's got to be like 80.
Well, hopefully he has the internet.
So. Wait, he might be older than Jimmy Page. Wait a minute. Yeah, I don't know. Might not be in a state that he can do something anymore.
Well, we'll find out. Sligari, what's going on? Dave, Mark, please explain how to slave an amp and the benefits when it comes to controlling volume. All right, so
I can tell you this: the easiest way to slave an amp is buy a Fryette power station. Essentially, you are slaving an amp then. So it goes into a reactive load that is tuned a certain way. You have some dip switches that you can kind of tune it more. If you want to use it as a resistive load, you can set the dip switches to flat, and then it's a resistive load. And you got a good power amp all there. I mean, that's the easiest way these days. I mean, look that up, check the videos out on that, and you'll get the idea behind it. I mean, there's other ways to do the same thing with power amps and different things like that, but I mean, just check that out. That's really, in this day and age, that'd be the way to go.
Okay.
Big fan of that product. So if you don't have one, you should have one.
It's the Swiss Army knife.
The Swiss Army knife. It does a ton of things. And with the product he's coming out with, it might even do more things.
Yeah, exactly. Asheville guy, what's happening? 2 different tones. Randy's tone was more of a pedal into amp, late 70s tone. Jake was just a few years later, would have had a modded Marshall, Jose Marshall, and rack effects. I think Jake had an advantage in why the tone is more modern. I mean, I'll buy that.
Yeah, sure. I will totally buy that. I totally get that. But Randy had an idea what he wanted because he was using Altec speakers.
Right.
He was, in the 70s, you only had so much shit around, like how do you get this tone? How do you get that sound? How do you get that thing? And like to get those crazy sounds, everyone was boosting it with one of the first distortion pedals was Distortion Plus. Generally a terrible sounding pedal. And it didn't have that much distortion, so you needed some distortion from the amp for sure. And then what Randy had done was Distortion Plus into a 10-band MXR EQ, so you could tweak the tone of the thing, yeah, I mean, it was those things into a vintage Marshall, into Altec speakers. And I think, to be honest, the Altec speakers is where it might have gone awry. At least in my book. I don't know. You know what? To be honest, though, I've never actually heard Altec speakers in a cabinet in my life. So personally, like in a room. So I'm not sure. The Jake thing was a Jose modded Marshall into EVs. In a 412. So that's what he told me.
Wow. Okay.
And Jake wants to come on again too.
Good.
I've just recently heard that, and I will confirm this when I see him in Vegas next week. I just recently heard that he'd like to come on with George Pahone.
Oh, okay.
Because they're friends. Because they both live in Vegas. George and Jake are friends because I hooked them up together.
Gotcha.
And I just heard from George that Jake wants to come on Tone Talk again, but with me. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, we'll see.
Let's do it.
I have another couple ideas about things I'd like to do with Tone Talk. And I'm going to throw this out here right now. So when I was at End Stuff Music in Pittsburgh, they have such a great venue. I'm like, how cool would it be to do a live in-person Tone Talk? Where obviously there's an entrance fee to do it and stuff.
Right.
And but we also stream it, We also take the questions just like we normally do, but in a live format where we're all there. Whatever guest that we choose to have, and then maybe some music at the end with whatever guest is there and stuff.
Right.
And I think that would be an amazing concept.
Yeah, I would love it.
That would be amazing concept. Of course, we'll probably come out of pocket on it.
Right. Yeah. Logistically, we'd have to make it work. But yeah, I'd love it.
I floated that by them and stuff, and they were totally into that.
Oh wow.
Because they have the capability to be able to stream it properly and do it properly because they got a guy there that can do that.
Huh.
And I'm like, this venue would be perfect for this.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
And where are they again? They're in Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, just an airplane flight.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, well, we'll talk about it. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be good. And then there's some other things I'd really love to do, and I'll throw this out here too. I would also like to do some round table type things with some artists that are filmed, not live, that are a filmed round table type thing. And I have a great venue to do that out here now. And but it needs to be involved with. We had this idea. Pete Thorne and I kind of were hemming and hawing on this, like to do some stuff where we could do these roundtable things and maybe Pete be involved. And we could at different times, because Pete would be involved with our show at different times, we do another roundtable and it's posted on his show.
Right.
And like he used to do with the Tim and Pete thing where, one episode was on his channel and the other episode was on his channel, like back and forth. And I'm like, that's a cool idea too.
Yeah.
Because you can't be here for everything, but it benefits the channel and it would be cool,
Absolutely. That'd be great.
Or you are here, it's just a travel thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make it work. We'll figure it out.
But I mean, I really, really, if I can get the people I really want to do these roundtables with, I really think it'd be an amazing, amazing thing. But it's like herding cats, to try to get everyone in one place at one time.
Yeah.
Not to mention costly.
Why would it be costly? Oh, because they have traveled.
Well, okay. If any of the artists have to travel,
right? Oh, I thought they were going to be local.
It's a problem. Not all the artists would be local. Some of the artists would be local, but maybe some wouldn't.
Okay.
It might be a cheap flight, but I mean, it might be doable. But I'm sure some of you guys would love to see that kind of stuff, wouldn't you?
Tell us in the chat. Yeah, please.
Slam it on our channel and
let us know. But yeah, Dan Huff. Yeah, actually, Dan Dan, we were trying to get a hold of Dan.
I just talked. I mean, Mason just did something with Dan Huff.
Right. Yep.
And I just talked with Mason about something because he was clarifying something that I had done for Dan Huff. And I'll make that happen.
Okay. Awesome.
Please remind me.
I will. Let me write it down. Yeah, because when Tom Bukovac was on, I know he's buddies with Dan too.
Yeah. They're all buddies.
Yeah.
You know? Again, it's like herding cats.
Yep.
Hard to do sometimes.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people who
musicians aren't the best. The shit.
No, it's
not at all, man.
Creative people. So, Scotty Phoenix, what's going on? Dave, why do some of your amps have a standby switch and others don't? Is it
all the 21 amps don't have a standby switch? They don't really need it. It's just a 21 amp. It's a small powered amp, and it's just not needed in any way, shape, or form. It's really not needed in the big amps, but I just have left them there as a
tradition.
I don't know, tradition, so to speak, you know? So, like there's many 21 amps, like so old Marshall 21 amps or even the reissue of the 21 amps didn't have a standby switch either. So I just kind of followed suit with that originally. Yeah, so there you go. There's the answer.
All right. Kieran Smith, guitar. Thanks for the super chat. David Mark, greetings from Ireland. Hey, thanks.
Hello.
Late. It's past your bedtime. Come on, it's late. New IRX owner, love it. Just wondering if I use it with the HX Stomp, would it be better tonally to put the IRX in the loop of the HX or vice versa?
No, put well, I mean, I would put it okay. Better tonally. Apples and oranges. If you're gonna if you want some pre-effects, meaning drive pedals or things in front of the HX effects, then you'd want to put it in a loop of the HX effects. The only thing you kind of lose with that is the balanced out part. So the HX effects does not have a balanced out. It's just a non-balanced out. So then you would need another box on your board that would really balance the signal. To go straight to a mixer or something like that. So, which is not a big deal. You can get something that'll do that. Walrus Audio makes something that does that. A DI that will do that. You don't want to use a normal DI though. You want one that has it's 1-to-1. Meaning you're not losing signal. It doesn't need to reduce level. But I would think personally, I would put the IRX in the loop of the HX.
Okay.
And then just come out of the HX. Because then you have your pre-effects and post-effects.
Right.
And you can do all that stuff.
Okay. By the way, what I heard you had dinner with Vinny in New York. You guys got to hang out.
Yeah.
And then like
we had some tequila.
I know you guys went to a tequila bar, you said?
Tequila bar that's right across from the hotel. The fact he loves that hotel because that hotel he stayed at before.
The Roxy.
It's by far probably look
great.
When I went on my trip, I looked at a lot of freaking hotels. I was like just going over and over and over again what hotel we were going to stay at. And man, it was almost to the point of like, I don't know. Like I'm like,
well, yeah, so many good
well, I had a complication. If it was just my wife and I, that would be one thing, but it was my wife and I and my son.
Right.
So the problem is he needs a place to sleep in the room. So, and in New York, not a lot of hotels have double queens.
Right.
They have double
beds.
fulls.
Yeah, right, exactly. 2 double.
And like going, I can't sleep with my wife in a full. No way.
Right. It's
not happening. And so then, we're going back and forth. Oh, what hotel we get? Oh my God, what is this? We can't get, and everything in New York is exceptionally expensive.
Yeah.
So we're like, and eventually it was like, the Roxy looked amazing. It was on the expensive side. But we found a 1-room suite there, which had, or 2-room suite. So there's a bedroom and like a living room, so to speak, that had a pull-out sofa bed.
And there you go.
Not cheap. The regular rooms are for the style hotel it is, reasonably nice. Reasonably priced, but that was expensive. The hotel was amazing.
I hear the Roxy's great.
It's freaking amazing hotel.
And it's right in the heart of the village. Right
it's right. Yeah. Tribeca. Yeah. You can walk to Chinatown. You can walk. We walked to the Empire State Building. That was a long walk, but we walked there.
So they call it Tribeca. That's not the West Village area.
Well, maybe it's. Technically, the Roxy's in Tribeca, which is like Canal Street and Broadway area.
Okay, so that's not really considered.
So sort of near Chinatown. You can walk to Chinatown really easy.
It's real close to the West Village.
Yeah. So that was an amazing hotel, which Vinny stays at. It's the only hotel if he goes to New York he stays at.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me.
And I would highly recommend it. The funny thing is, when we were leaving the hotel on Monday, sad we were leaving, but I like that hotel. But we're leaving the hotel. We have our suitcases. We're in our elevator. We're coming down to the lobby, right? We stop at another floor, of course, to pick up some other passenger. And someone walks in with his phone, looking at his phone, not really paying attention and stuff. And I look over at him and I go, Scott? It's Scott Ian.
Oh,
who's also staying in the same hotel, who's also leaving that day, but he was staying in the same hotel, and he's like, holy shit.
That's funny.
And
small world.
And it was a small world. Yeah, we talked for a minute, and he goes, I go, isn't this hotel great? He goes, oh my God, I'm never staying anywhere else in New York again.
Wow, I'll have to pick. I've been a lot of places in New York and never been there. So
really, go stay at that hotel. Like if you're going to be in New York, go stay at that hotel. Even if it's for a night or two, just do it.
Okay.
Just do it. Happy hour 4 to 6 is $2 oysters.
Oh wow.
If you like oysters.
Yeah,
that's cheap.
That is cheap.
And they're really good too.
Fresh. Pentatonic Prancer, thanks again. Ed's 78 Fresno tone is the shit. Dave, please make that damn GE10. I will hound you with $10 super chats until you break.
I want to make a GE10. I really do. You know what? I'm going to bring this up with my guy that I do PC boards with tomorrow. I'm going to see him tomorrow. So Tracy,
I'll remind you.
And I'm gonna bring that up with him again. I go, can we make this? Let's do this.
That would be cool.
Yeah. In a smaller format, of course.
Right. Yeah, and not have a plug that would be attached to it. Like the GE10 where you couldn't even take the plug off. It just had the big 3-prong plug. Didn't they have that?
Yeah. That you can't do it that way.
No. Oscar Aseka Jr. Thanks, Dave. Thoughts on the ultimate attenuator? Still have one as well as the power station. Curious if it's safe to use.
Is it safe to use? It's probably safe to use. Is it that great? It's probably not that great.
Compared to the power station.
Yeah. To be honest. I don't know. You have both, so be it.
Yeah, I had an ultimate attenuator from Ho.
Yeah.
And I actually talked to the guy. I remember having emails back and forth with him, and he made me one.
Mhm.
Um, I liked it. I thought it was a cool. I have a
Yeah, no,
video
it's cool. I mean, it was cool for sure. I
for the
mean,
time. Yeah,
cool for the time, I think, maybe,
yeah, that's right.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. We were also with the gear page. Everybody was so
Oh,
hungry.
yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. Ant-Man Felix, thanks for the super chat. Would love a PT2 or LS. I guess it's Pink Taco 2 or Little Sister. What are they based off of? What are the differences between them? I love ACDC style tones up to Van Halen, though I can't play like VH. Oh, you can get there. You'll get there.
The Little Sister is a little bit more, based on our Dirty Shirley amp, so it's a little bit
ACDC.
more, well, I mean, it's a little more classic rock, and then the PT2 is a little heavier, a little more hard rock, if I had to put that into words. The PT2 will get more aggressive for sure. More Van Halen-y probably than that Little Sister. Little Sister might do AC/DC tones better though than the PT2. So both.
Yeah, get them both. I mean, I'm quite frankly, I mean, I have the Little Sister and I've dimed it, and I can get pretty close to Van
I
Halen.
mean, you can totally with the Little Sister, and then maybe if you just even hit it with like a Buxom Boost or something that I have, and
Yep,
you will totally get it. Then
exactly.
you can tighten that right up.
Jay, thanks for the super chat. Dave, how do I play wet dry using a Mac plus monitors and 2 IRXs? Love you. Wow, that's a tough one.
Oh, Mac.
Plus monitors and 2 IRXs. Wet dry.
I mean, I don't know exactly what Mac Plus monitors.
I have an idea.
Okay, you could put a delay in one of the IRXs, use them both at the same time, split into them, and then feed them both into your thing, and then pan them left and right, and
That's what I was
then
thinking.
you get wet and dry. Without knowing more, that might be the way to do it.
That's exactly how I was going to
Yeah.
suggest doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just pan it left and right
Yeah.
with the effects on one.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Hope that helped, Jay. John DeShane. Dave, with my wet dry wet rig, what level should I be running my CLS 100 power amp? Full open, same with my Sir low box. Full whack?
Okay, Sir Load Box. Wait, Sir Low Box?
I think you meant load box. But no, that's different than a power amp.
Really, the power amp can be run at whatever level you sort of need it to be running at. I'm not sure what's feeding your power amp. I don't know if you have a mixer. I don't know what you have going on. I mean, if you have a mixer, maybe you have a volume there. I'm not sure. And as far as the load box, I don't know. It depends on the level you need into your effects.
I'll tell you,
Sorry, that's a little vague, but
for me,
need more info.
I've got my wet dry wet rig running through a Sin 50 power amp, right? And I've got the volume on each channel at like 6. So
Yeah, I don't know what's feeding the CLS 100 exactly. So I don't know if there's a volume. I don't know what you got going. Theoretically, the CLS 100 could have the volumes on 10 if you have a volume on a mixer that's lower,
but if you don't, then you probably wouldn't want it that high, because then the repeats are going to be so high comparing to your dry sound. You want
Well, yeah, but what I mean is, like, if you have a level before it that you're
right,
turning down,
right.
I need more info, John. Sorry.
Gotcha. Patrick, thanks, Dave, for modding my non-master volume JMP. Excited to see what you come up with.
Cool. Is it here?
Did you get it?
I probably have it here.
That's not worrying Patrick at all right now. He's probably what?
Well, no, I mean, there's a lot of amps here.
Yeah. You'll get it, Pat. You'll get it, Patrick. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Probably here.
Jimmy Mack. Nerd alert. Dave, what do you think of the MOSFET power scaling? Any preference for filter can caps, ARS, F&T, or should we just do niche?
Well, filter can caps, I mean, pretty much the only one. There's not too many available. So there's ARS, there's F&T. There's some available from Mojo. There's some generic ones from amp. There used to be some from Ruby. I'm not sure if they still do some or not. As far as can caps, F&T or ARS, I mean, I'd go with either one. Both are good. The MOSFET power scaling, I kind of hate power scaling. So I wouldn't even bother with that. It's just a pain in the ass. Doesn't really get you a great result, I don't think.
What's Nichicon?
Nichicon is a good brand of capacitors, but they don't really make the can cap, big filter can caps that you're talking about.
Okay.
Nichicon is a really, really good brand of filter caps, but they just don't have the can cap, so that doesn't really apply.
By the way, going back to Vinny, he and I the next night, 2 nights later, you had dinner with him on, I think, Sunday night.
Oh, and then you had, right?
And I had dinner with him, and Tuesday night I met him out. He picked me up at my hotel out in Parsippany.
You see that tattoo of his?
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He's got well, guess what? I'm getting a tattoo also.
Oh yeah?
Yep. So I'm meeting with the artist on
the same
Sunday.
Artist?
No, an artist down here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm doing something. We're not doing the same image, obviously,
Yeah.
but something similar. So
yeah, I mean, his artist was amazing. Amazing job.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Really, yeah, very cool tattoo.
Yeah.
Vinny's a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And once he's ready, guys, we'll get the next round of cables going.
Yep.
He's just getting his workspace all sorted out. So, Jay, we answered this one. I think you sent it in twice, but thank you. We love you back. Thanks for sending us the super chat. Stormlight Architect, thank you. Dave, thanks for cluing me in on the transformer in my Run 50. Love the amp. Glad I bought it. Still waiting on my purple Gel 50. Add some extra switching options, please. What do we think about Marshall having U.S. prices? Interesting. Yeah, we talked about that earlier.
Well, again, I think that they eliminated their distributor, so that's why they're halving the prices. As far as the transformer, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sure I told you something about something. Yeah, okay, on the Gel 50, it's eventually.
Yeah, you'll get it eventually. Yeah, as far as you Marshall, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to go check out how the prices.
And now I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at Marshall prices just the other day at Sweetwater. Like it didn't look like it went down to me, but maybe I'm wrong. So, okay, we're gonna wrap this up soon. We're approaching 2 hours. I know, Dave, you got to go eat. Let's see.
Do we have more super chats?
Yes, we do. We got a few more. GC Phoenix, opinions on the new Metropolis Metroplex Mark II. Aside from having a master volume and effects loop, how else does it differ from the Plex? Looking forward to it.
It's a different architecture. He did something that simulates the overdriven phase inverter. And then by doing that, the loop comes after it and then goes into the 100-watt power section. That's why you can put a loop in it. It is not a traditional standard plexi circuit. And that's about it. That's what I have to say about it.
Okay.
So
I haven't played it. I played the original Metroplex. Cool amp.
Marshall. I'm looking at the Marshall thing still.
Yeah, you're just looking at the prices. Yeah, I'm taking a look. I don't know. Price drop. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of price drops here on Sweetwater. Yes. The 100 watt Silver Jubilee head is at $18.99. That is
price drop. So okay, so that Marshall you want, the JTM 20.
It's still $17.99.
No,
right?
it's not. That's the half stack.
Oh, the $12.99 for
$12.99.
Wow, that is a big.
Mm-hmm. This falls in line with having no distributor. So I think if you look, let's see here.
By the way, they're all back ordered and more on the way. None of them are in stock.
Yeah, well, that's because they blew them all out. If I look at Marshall, hang on a second, I'm gonna look.
Interesting. Okay. Even the JVM, $17.99.
That's cheap.
$750 price drop.
Yeah, that's like crazy.
It's 20. It was 20.
Okay. Look, though, a JTM, it's still more money. So a JTM ST20H head, like the one you were talking about, Mark.
Yeah.
At Thomann in US dollars is $815 though.
Wow.
So it reduced in price, but that is basically taking out the distributor.
Right.
So when you take out the distributor, it's cheaper. Yeah, like Jesus. So for instance, a Marshall Origin 20 head at Thomann in US dollars, although this is a European amp, so it's not, you can't buy it really. Is $379.
Wow.
So, at Sweetwater, it is what did I say? Origin?
Getting tired. Where's the Origin?
Come on, you remember that email.
I know, right? The old man.
Marshall Origin 20 here is $549.
Yeah, so $200 difference.
Yeah, but there's import duties and there's things, so that has to be dealt with. So yeah, but things are cheaper. Things are cheaper now, which is probably good, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're like, oh, we're going to put Freedman out of business.
No, I don't think it's about that at all. It's more about selling Bluetooth speakers. So
really?
the in every room. So there was 2 Marshall Bluetooth speakers in my hotel suite at the Roxy.
Really?
Yeah. Well, one had a turntable plugged into it. There's a turntable in the hotel.
Wow.
Suite.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Talk about hip. Phoenix Synergy Sir module. Hey, you never know.
Never know.
They got a Dr. Z module coming.
Absolutely.
Jay, I'm in a fucking loft and I need to keep the sound down. Can I buy a couple of your amps and run wet, dry, wet at bedroom level without getting evicted? Yeah,
sure.
Man, absolutely. Look, I have a wet, dry, wet. I used to have 3 4x12s, and my son was right in the room next door.
You can play at whisper volumes.
Yeah, and I play it super low and no one would hear anything.
Yeah,
literally. It's just, and then it can get crazy.
Wow.
So you got that option. So yes, you can. Even though it sounds funny, you definitely can do it. Daniel Belinsky, thanks for the super chat. What makes a great guitar? I own many guitars. Some of them seem to lack character despite being perfectly built. What is the secret to build a great guitar, and what are you looking for in a good guitar?
Oh, that's a tough question, man.
The neck is really important.
The neck's really important, but there's a character. Like there's a certain. I mean, there can be really super high end, super expensive guitars that lack any kind of vibe.
Right.
And how do I explain what that is? That's the hard part. They lack a soul, or they lack grittiness to it. I think sometimes soul is like, to me, is a little bit gritty. It feels right. It feels like a comfortable old pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And often, some really nice, really well made guitars can be soulless, so to speak.
Some of the best guitars that I've ever played are the ones where you can actually feel, without it being plugged in, vibration in the body.
Yeah. Like some of the guitars I had here, like when, in particular, which one was it? I think the black one in particular, it just rings forever.
Right.
You just hit a chord and it, you can go to lunch, come back, and still be singing. And part of that with the Freedman guitars has to do with the zero shift neck pins that are in the neck. It makes a more direct connection between the neck and the body than a lot of guitars have. It's not just a flat surface.
Right.
It has pins that are going through the neck into the body, and the vibration of them responds differently.
I can believe that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's definitely something to that. And then, of course, great fret work.
Yeah.
Those are, but
it doesn't necessarily mean that's a great guitar. I mean, it has great fretwork. It can have great fretwork and still be soulless.
True.
True. That's a tough one to describe.
Yeah.
I mean, basically pick it up. If it speaks to you and you love it, then great. That's the best way I can describe it,
Yeah. Some guitars sound like you just feel them and they're dead. There's something, it's soulless. Like, yeah. I don't know why that is, especially because they're all just a piece of wood with,
right.
But there's something there to it. There really is. Because you could pick up 3 different guitars with the same guitar, and then one of them just happens to speak to you.
Right. Believe it or not, I got to take a break again.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
I've been drinking while we do this.
Where can I go to learn great songs like your boy Michael Nielsen? Jay, let me tell you something. Michael is so talented and so low key and humble. He's probably one of the most humble guys I know who plays as good as anybody out there. And I consider him a friend as well, Michael. And he is just such an amazing writer and composer, I would call it. He knows how to put together pieces of music. I mean, not only does he do it for a living, right? I mean, this is what this guy does for a living in the music industry, and does it for video games. He does it for movie trailers. So clearly, he's a very, very talented person. But his guitar playing skills are just off the charts too, and he knows how to compose a song. It's just, I know I'm sitting here praising because I'm waiting for Dave to get done with whatever he's doing. But no, seriously, Michael Nielsen is awesome, and everybody should go check out his channel.
He's terrible. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Michael Nielsen.
No, if you haven't checked out Michael Nielsen, definitely go to his channel and check it out.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's such a great guy, so humble, but just a great musician, really. His demos are fantastic. He's going to do a Plex demo, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Him and Pete. And I don't know who else.
Phil Axe, maybe.
I don't know. I'm like kind of being picky about who I want to do these demos.
Yeah, well, I get you. It's
for a non-master volume amp.
It's got to be done the right way.
It's got to be done the right way. It's got to be recorded the right way. It's just got to capture the right way. And
Yeah.
you know. Although I did a video at End Stuff Music while we were there, and we actually did it into an aux, and I really dialed in the aux just a certain way, and I thought I captured it really well.
The aux is great too.
Yeah, I thought I captured it really well with the aux. The aux has this little weird thing on the top end, and in the box we took a low pass filter and just filtered off like 13K a little bit, and that fixed the issue. And it was awesome then.
Okay.
Dry cab, second speaker out to ISO, line out box, CLA into wet cabs, Alta Paralyzer. Okay, so you got a mixer in there. Really the ISO line out is just about you set it to how much signal level your effects need, really. And then everything else is, you can use the if you're using at that point you just use the CLA 100 volumes as your volumes for your white cabs. So like depending on what you're playing your dry amp at.
Okay.
Yeah, just when you turn it all off, I think you should have equal volumes in all cabs. Dry. And if you do have that, then you're good.
Okay. That's a good tip. Jay. Last question, guys.
And lots of questions tonight, huh?
Yeah. Ever think about moseying out of California? I know you have. It's getting expensive, brah. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think. Well, at least now that you could work at McDonald's instead of being a teacher and make just $4 less an hour.
Oh, let's not get started.
So, that's a whole nother story. But I think teachers should be paid more.
Absolutely.
I think
it's a crime.
It's a kind of a crime what teachers are paid. Although I'm not necessarily against what the workers at McDonald's are being paid either, but it does present a problem for a lot of companies, and a lot of companies are then just like, okay, well then we'll just lay off people, and we'll lay off people, and we'll raise your prices, and we'll do all that, and yeah,
it's great.
But meanwhile, the head of the head that runs McDonald's makes $17 million a year, or some crazy figure like that.
And plus,
literally,
for you to get out of California, you would, it'd be quite hard because you got the whole boutique amp business there, and
I want to go personally.
I'm sure. I know you talked about it.
I would like to go personally.
Well,
maybe in the next 5 years or something, I might. I have to wait till my son's out of school.
Yep. I got to wait for my son to graduate college, and then we may go somewhere else as well. So
why do you have to wait for him to graduate college,
though? We like to stay close to him while he's still in
okay.
school, and then once he graduates, and he'll be off on his own, doing his own thing, and then I'll feel like we can go wherever we want.
See, don't say that, because then it'd be like, well, then Ryder has to go to college, and then I got to see where he's going to go to college. And oh my God, no!
I know I know. I hear you. All right.
If I'm moving anywhere, I'm moving back to Detroit.
Yep, I know. That's your spot.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'm looking at the questions
I can't
here.
even keep track of it.
Yeah, I can't. There's tons of questions. So all I'm going to say is, guys, we've gone through all the super chats. We've got our next show coming up on the 19th with Shay from Monomyth,
That'd be fun.
which is going to be great. And then we're going to do on the 26th. We've got
We're gonna
Stevie.
get Shay drunk.
Oh yeah, let's do
on
that.
air because I think that'll be really fun.
He needs to loosen up.
Judging from a phone call I had once.
Oh yeah, you told me.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I obviously Michael Nielsen's in the chat here. Well, I hope everybody has a great evening and a great weekend. And we'll be in touch soon. Check out our social media stuff and everything else. And
oh, there's Jay. Jay said, "Congratulations on your success, Dave. Thank you."
Oh, yeah. Jay, thanks. You've been busy with us tonight, Jay. Thank you. All right. Well, that's it, guys. We're gonna have a great weekend. Dave, I'll catch you on the other side.
All right. See you guys later.
Take care,
Bye.
guys. Bye-bye.